Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your first of two Pro Dota 2 Asia matches for today. First up, we have MUFC versus DK. And MUFC on the Radiant, DK on the Dire. And it looks like MUFC have first pick, so of course, no real surprises here. These are two teams that definitely know how to use that CK, and he's going to get immediately banned out. He is absolutely at that first pick, first ban status for a lot of these teams. We've seen him a little bit more in Europe. He's gotten some play there, but especially up against the Chinese, you just don't want to give this guy away. Honestly, I'm a little surprised. I feel like the team with first pick should at least consider leaving him out there, but maybe it doesn't fit MUFC's style. It's just such a strong hero, though. The reason that CK is such a powerful hero, for anyone that's wondering, is he scales very well with items, but unlike a lot of other heroes that do scale well with items, he really doesn't need them. So an anti-mage, for example, doesn't offer your team a whole lot until he gets those items, but CK, pretty much from level 1, is a useful hero. Average 2-second stun time, or 1.5 second stun time at that level 1, and it only gets better from there. You compare that to something like an anti-mage, even a Morphling who does have a nuke to work with, there's just no comparisons. But if you get the farm, 4 illusions that do full damage, that's right, not reduced damage. These are not like Manta-style illusions. These are not like the illusions of any other hero that has illusion skills. These do full damage, and they're all based on strength. So you can build cheap items that give you strength, like Armlet, Urn, Drums is even a good pickup. And then, of course, if you're really rich, go for the Heart, go for the Satanic, even the BKB. I mean, all these items that you can build on CK, they're just so damn useful otherwise. And they also give you a ton of damage. I mean, you could build a bunch of utility items. You'll easily be critting for 500 in the mid-game. And, of course, you're getting there by ganking. You don't need to farm. Now, we have seen players like Bleak opt to farm on the CK Russia Battle Fury. I'm talking a whole lot about CK, even though he's banned, but I haven't really gotten to cast any games with him. And I'm sure a lot of you are sort of curious how he fits in the metagame if you haven't got a chance to see him. So there's my little spiel on CK. Anyway, Leshrac, Invoker, Lycan, Prophet, and Darkseer all get bans. No surprises here whatsoever. And it'll be a Chen first pick. We'll have to see. Is DK going to respond with an Enchantress? If they want to, the option is there. Shadow Demon is also in the pool, and Panda as well. So these are two heroes I'd expect them to be having their eyes on. Now, of course, this is DK. Don't be surprised at all to see Burning go for a hard carry of some kind for himself. Maybe a Morphling, maybe an Anti-Mage. These are two of his favorite heroes to play. But for the moment, DK deliberates.
Reserve time.
Syllabear also in the pool. Windrunner in the pool. Even Queen of Pain, especially for MUFC, that's the hero they've been known to run in the past. And I will also throw in the Beastmaster. So these are some of the heroes I expect to see flying off the board here in relatively short order. Some selection of those. The Panda, the Beastmaster, Queen of Pain, Windrunner, Syllabear, and the Shadow Demon. Broodmother potentially as well.
Reserve time.
But we'll have to see. Earthshaker to start. That is going to be a very defensive pick, and the Queen of Pain to follow.
Pain. Radiant team pick.
Now my question is, what kind of a Queen of Pain will this be? Will it be more of a ganking style Queen of Pain, or will they be looking to have her get a bunch of farm? Most likely it's going to be in that 2 or 3 position. That's normally how DK runs it. And sorry guys, I'm just having some PC issues, so give me 1 sec. I'm trying to get my computer to stop freezing up.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Alright, I think we should be good to go. So DK opts for a pretty strong nuking combo, as well as a decent amount of disable and chasing power here. The Earthshaker is really great initiation range. Queen of Pain, of course, we all know how powerful Shadow Strike is in the laning phase. When you're up against a hero like Chen, you need to either prevent him from being able to get his heals off by disabling him, or you need to burst him down before he can use them. The other option is to catch him out and force him to waste those heals on himself, rather than letting him use them effectively on the team. So, a great pair of heroes to deal with that are picked up by DK. Earthshaker also really fantastic defensive hero if Chen ever tries to tower dive you, which we'll have to see how MUFC decide to run the Chen, but a lot of teams like to play aggressively with their junglers, especially around that 3 to 4 minute mark. We could expect to see a smoke gank, maybe even the Crystal Maiden or the Shadow Shaman joining that gank. And then that's where having a hero like Earthshaker can completely turn the tides. A nice fissure block, even just a decent fissure that stuns the creeps and the Chen, could be more than enough to get your heroes to safety, buy some time for TPs, and really turn the tides of that gang. So if you want the best level 1 defensive hero in the game, Earthshaker is your man. And then of course Queen of Pain, so elusive as well. So the burst damage to help lock down and bring down Chen before he can use the heals effectively, before he can use the Holy Persuasion effectively, plus the just the sheer defensive firepower of these two. It's a good combo to deal with the Chen. My question is, where does DK go from here? Are they going to leave the hard carries in the pool? Are they going to go for something? No, they're going to go for team fight in that Brewmaster. Definitely no surprises there. It's a hero that DK love to run. It's generally a favorite of a lot of the Southeast Asian and Chinese teams. Just such a versatile hero. And now the team fight for DK, frankly, it's pretty terrifying. I will say the best way to deal with the Panda is to try and kill him before he can use his ult. And Shadow Shaman is probably the best hero in the game to do that. Aside from maybe a Riki with his silence or a Nightstalker with his silence, the next best thing is to have a Shadow Shaman, ideally with a blink. And you blink in, you hex him, you net him, and then you hope to bring him down before he drops the ult. But where's the burst damage going to come from for MUFC? Right now they really don't have a whole lot. They have a couple of nukes, but it's much more of a pushing lineup, just sort of a strong early game lane control, tower pushing type of lineup. This is not a lineup designed to kill or dominate in the mid game, so if they want to go late game, they're going to need something like a Morphlane, something like an anti-mage, and ideally a team fight hero as well. So expect to see MUFC go in that direction if those heroes are available. Whereas for DK, they have decent laning. It's not the strongest, but it's still quite solid. Panda is a very difficult hero to lane against, just because he's very tanky, high agility, high armor, high strength gain, high natural base HP. His only weakness is having a very low mana pool. But he can actually handle the solo lane. Even if it's up against the Shadow Shaman, he might not dominate that lane, but he's going to have a decent time. He's going to get farm, he's going to get the levels, and that's ultimately what Panda really cares about. And in fact, anti-mage, very smart band. I mentioned the mana dependency of Panda, but Queen of Pain as well could definitely be brought down by her. And of course, Earthshaker. These heroes that have slow casting animations like Earthshaker are kind of meat. They're very easily killed off by anti-mage if they get caught out of position. And of course, Earthshaker not the most mobile hero. So anti-mage ban makes a lot of sense. MUFC, that is like the style they like to run. They love to go for these hard carries like anti-mage. And if you have a Chen and a Shadow Shaman, these are two of the best heroes to have with a hard carry. Because what Chen and Shadow Shaman give you is a lot of early game pushing power. If you get down those early towers, which they're likely to get at least a few. I mean, as strong as DK is defensively, MUFC should be able to get towers. Every time the Shadow Shaman wards get dropped, every time Shen shows up with a couple of creeps, the tower is going to die or take a lot of damage. And for DK, the question will be, can they get good trade-offs? But once you knock down those early towers, it really frees up the map for a hero like Anti-Mage or Morphlane. And that's why I will say I'm a little surprised to see DK ban both, just because they really like these heroes. But it really makes sense. If you know MUFC, this is the style they like to run. So don't let your opponents play in their comfort
10
zone.
seconds remaining.
I'm still very curious. What are we going to see burning on?
5 seconds remaining.
He could be on that Queen of Pain, but most likely... Oh, interesting pick by MUFC here. They go for low druid, so not the hardest carry in the world, but a hero that gives you a great laning stage and a lot of pushing power. An Ancient Apparition, the counter pick here to the Chen, going to give you DK more anti-push, more team fight. A very strong hero to combo up with the Earthshaker. DK loves to run this combo, the Earthshaker and the Ancient Apparition. Fissure and Cold Feet, a guaranteed Cold Feet proc unless you time it incorrectly. And of course you followed up with the Queen of Pain, the Panda. They could easily tri-lane this Panda, do it offensively. Maybe pick a solo and then have the Queen of Pain be their other solo. That's an option if they want to run that offensive tri-lane. Of course the A and ES can roam together. We could see a very defensive dual lane down bottom, maybe something like a Windrunner and Earthshaker, a Panda, an Ancient Apparition mid, a Queen of Pain top. It really comes down to this last pick, but my point is, with this combination, they're such a strong pair that you can pretty much do anything with them. They can fit in well with other heroes. They can also combo together very well. But MUFC opted for the Nightstalker, and I haven't said anything about him yet. So I will say this tells you that MUFC wants to be very aggressive in that early to mid game. That first nighttime going to be so crucial for them. Like I said, they don't have the hard carry, but what they do have are heroes that can really bully you at the tower. The bear, not only the Spirit Bear, but also the hero is just so damn tanky. You couple that up with the Nightstalker. These are heroes that can easily tower dive you. They can scare you off the tower, and while you're scared off, The Chen drops his wards, the Rhasta drops his wards, the Chen creeps are auto-tagging the tower. It's definitely a lot of push potential from MUFC, and sure, Nightstalker's not technically really a pushing hero, that's not what he's designed to do. But he's a very decent at pushing hero because of that way. He scares enemies off. You always have to be worried about him diving the tower. I'm just fixing my mouse sensitivity here. So then for DK, the final pick is a Venomancer, so we'll talk about that in just a second, but let's go ahead and introduce the players here. ROTK, going to be on that Queen of Pain, burning on the Panda, so this will be their #1 farmer most likely. Log DD on that Earthshaker. Looks like he purchased the Courier. Super playing that Ancient Apparition. 200 gold in the bank. I believe this will be a solo mid Ancient Apparition. And Zippo on the Venomancer. Meanwhile, for MUFC, we have Net playing the Crystal Maiden. Pair of wards already picked up. Moon on that Chen. Looks like he'll be defensive jungling, or at least that's where he is for the moment. TT on the Nightstalker. TFG on the Shadow Shaman. And it looks like Sharky's going to be on that off lane. Playing the syllabear. DK, very aggressive movement into the enemy jungle. If you look at this DK lineup, this is one of the very strongest level 1 lineups in the game that you can possibly construct. You do not want to fight these guys. Cold Feet, Fissure, Shadow Strike, or Blink, the clap on top of it all, and then Venomous Gale. I mean, just Fissure and Venomous Gale alone, if anybody gets caught by if 2 or 3 heroes eat those spells, you're just flat out going to lose the team fight. So, good decision here by MUFC to play very passively, kind of make their way out safely.
The battle begins.
They're going to spot Zippo. No wards placed for the moment, aside from a Radiant lane ward here. But here we go. I believe this will block the camp. If not, I'll give them a lot of vision. Oh, nice deny by Net. High ground to low ground. That haste turn could have been a devastating opportunity for DK here to get an early kill. Haste turn, especially when you have a hero like Venomancer, it's going to be an offensive tri-lane, so it's actually not going to be a solo mid H apparition, but he does have that 200 gold in the bank. Maybe saving for a pair of Sentry Wards if he needs some. Burning's going to be mid. Up against the Shadow Shaman. Again, I will say this favors the Shadow Shaman, but not hugely so. Shadow Shaman is the better harassment. He's got the better range. But Burning, especially if he does some bottle crowing, he can easily look to control the runes or at least contest them. And most importantly, he's going to get the levels. Up top, we're going to see ROTK up against Sharky. And it's a tough lane to call. I mean, generally, Lone Druid is going to have the edge against any hero in a 1v1 just because he's got the Spirit Bear as well. Oh, here we go. Moon looking for the gank. Tornado was used. I believe it was canceled by Cold Feet. Void onto Super to follow. The Burn doing a lot of damage. Nice scale, nice fissure. Look at the defensive capabilities of DK. And the Nova as well. They're not done just yet. They really want long DD. No salve on him. Cold Feet on the Net. What a body block by the creeps there. And Net goes down. Overextension big time. And DK not done just yet. This is the power of this tri-lane. If you ever slip up, Gale and Fissure are going to make you pay. Gale off cooldown, ready to go, hits TT, Fissure to follow, and 1 or 2 more right clicks. The tri-lane is now in shambles here for MUFC. And what a start for DK. It's just one of those situations where, you know, you think you have that kill, you're so close to it, and I mean, really, the Fissure was so well timed by Long DD. I love how he held on to it there and really just waited until that last possible moment. Get the enemy to dive you as far as possible, make them commit as much as possible, and then turn everything around. Really great play by him. And DK overall, whenever you run an offensive tri-lane, this is what you need. You cannot afford to let them pull and not trade kills. You can't afford to just sort of sit here in the lane because you're going to get under-leveled, you're going to get under-farmed. But if you're able to get these early kills, then it actually works out in your favor. Nightstalker, Crystal Maiden, Chen, very strong offensively, but we see the lack of AoE in this tri-lane. We see the lack of defensive firepower. Crystal Maiden is absolute food if she gets caught out. Same for the Chen. And the Nightstalker, while he's tanky, he doesn't have a Fissure, he doesn't have a Gale, he doesn't have anything AoE, nothing that can turn the tides of a team fight. And look at DK go. They know the pull's happening, they're looking to counter it. Super trying to spot things out. Zippo circling around. They really want to catch the Crystal Maiden from behind. Looks like they won't for the moment. It's a good pull for MUFC. It's definitely something they need more of. If they can't fight one-on-one, the best thing they can do is keep the lane back at the tower, and the way to do that is to pull. We can see Chen is now jungling very defensively, far away from the tri-lane, and this is necessary. If you look at Zippo, Boots of Speed already picked up. Super Boots of Speed. Long DD, the only hero that doesn't have them yet. I believe he upgraded the Courier to Flying. Looks like he did. So with the double boots, if you get caught out as this Chen, you're just dead. You can't run. Even with the creeps, they're not going to be enough. And that's what I mean when I say a tri-lane is over when a first blood is given up. Because it really is. You just can't come back from something like this on your own. Especially not against a tri-lane like DK's, which has such strong AoE, so much control. Whereas if you look at MUFC, I talked about their nukes. A lot of single target spells, a very squishy Crystal Maiden. Not too much defensive capabilities. Over in the middle lane, we have Bernie going up against TFG, and it looks like TFG is just going to take a guess here at the rune. Try to stay in the XP range, and Bernie doing the correct thing, really pushing the lane back, and oh, we have a huge disconnect from DK. Right as the DD spawns. Surprisingly, Bernie does not disconnect. I guess the other players are on one power strip or something like that. That really looks like they all just crashed. Well, I guess not if Super's already back in. That was very odd, though. To everybody just joining, this is MUFC vs DK, my first match of today. Pro Dota 2 Asia action. AO vs Orange will be coming up, I believe, directly after this. I'll see if I can look up the time now, actually. Well, we have ourselves a brief pause. (17 CET), which means it's scheduled for now. But I'm guessing it will be. Or no, 17. No, that means it's scheduled for 2 hours from now. So okay, we might have ourselves a bit of a break after this. But yeah, this is DK versus MUFC. Should just be a best out of 1. I was actually just about to comment on the middle lane, and we have another disconnect, and then immediately Sharky picks up the kill top.
Dead.
Oh, that's unfortunate. She had Blake, and a Queen of Pain normally will not die with Blake unless she gets entangled. But that entangle is cooling down, so guess what? He got an entangle. Still, this is not a situation you're going to be happy about. You get disconnected, you come back to the game, you're dead. Oh, and the ... Yeah, I feel your pain, ROTK, I really do. He disconnects again. Oh, so I was going to take a look at the farm for the middle lane, but these out-of-game factors keep on interrupting me. So I did expect TFG to have a bit of an edge here in the middle lane, and indeed we see it. 19 and 10, burning 13 and 4. This is what you expect, but I mean, considering the matchup, Burning's going to be fine with this creep score. It's not a dominant score. He's getting denied a decent amount, but still, he's level 5. He's a melee hero, so for anyone who's not familiar with the way the deny mechanic works, whenever a creep is denied, you get a lesser portion of the full experience. You don't get the whole experience. Some of the experience is missing, but not all of it. When you're a melee hero, the penalty is less for eating a deny, so you end up getting a decent amount, even if a lot of creeps are denied. And 10 in 4 minutes is quite a bit. If we actually did the math, it's 8 creeps a minute, so it's 32 creeps. So about 1/3 of the creeps have been denied already. Or is that right? 0. Actually, I think this is... I think there have been 40 so far, I want to say. Never try to do math when you're casting, because you'll always end up embarrassing yourself. But yeah, I think that's about right, 1/3 of the creeps. So nice job by TFG. Still, the Panda, like I mentioned, he's getting the levels. He's not getting the best farm, but he'll have his ult soon, and those boots aren't really going to matter when the Panda ult is operational. He can definitely still chase down a lot of these MUFC heroes. Really big kill for Sharky. I mean, as strong as Lone Druid is in the lane, you really don't expect to see a Queen of Pain die to him, because if you're low enough where you can die to an entangle, you just won't be in that position. You'll stand farther back. So I have to assume it was lag by RTK. What you'll normally see happening in this lane is that Sharky will dominate the lane. He'll out-farm the Queen of Pain without ganks, without support, but he's not going to kill her. So the kill there is something you really shouldn't see, and great play by Sharky getting that one. Bit of bad luck for RTK as well. Overall, I'm taking a look at MUFC, and they are getting the better end of the farm. However, they are behind the kills. So if we take a look here at our gold graph and our experience graph, a very slight lead for the Dire, but again, it's very slight, and it goes back to that farm. Lodred already hitting level 6 on the back of that kill. We'll have to see if he opts for an early point in the ult. If you're just expecting to be in this one-on-one matchup up in the top lane, probably won't happen. The ult's really not going to help you versus Queen of Pain. In fact, if you're in ult form, although you're very tanky, you can't harass her back. So generally in these one-on-ones, we'll see most pros, if they're not expecting to be ganked, they'll generally stay in the range form for a little bit of extra harassment. Especially when you know there's an offensive tri-lane bottom. You know you're not getting ganked, and if you do, they're going to have to be missing off the map for quite a while. Either way, we get the unpause. So Sharky, already 700 gold. We'll have to see what he opts for. Early phase boots, an early poison orb, whatever, or venomous orb, whatever he wants to go for, the option is there. This Radiant Ward just spotting everything out. I mean, if DK wants to roam, they have to smoke gank. Otherwise, and the issue for them is they can't do it too easily. But Zippo actually has rotate up top, and okay, low druid has the ult, should be okay. Needs to use that ult soon. Nope, Zippo running in for some harassment. In fact, the bear will be the one to scare him off. Still no purchase. Still sitting on that 800 gold. Looks like he wants the phase boots now, or he's going to start the boots on the bear. Most likely will turn them into phase boots. Meanwhile, MUFC are the ones to go for a smoke gank. But a panda is not easy here to kill. He's not level 6, and that's why they're going for it now. You really want to keep panda down. Oh, Hex to start. Perfect ward trap by TFG, and the clap as well to follow. Actually, not the best chain stun, but it will be enough. What a ward trap. Still, because he dropped the wards, that means they're not going to get the tower here. They may do some damage to it. But look at Zippo's immediate rotation towards mid. Just in the right place at the right time to slow down the push. And it's definitely a worthwhile kill. Anytime you can delay the panda ult, that's going to be worth it, no matter what. But, with that being said, whenever you drop Shadow Shaman wards, you'd like to get a kill. The same thing with the Death Prophet ultimate is also true. The cooldown on them is great enough, and they don't scale that well into the late game. Eventually, wards won't be very useful, so you really want to make sure those early uses are as effective as possible. DK actually just abandoning the bottom lane here, doing a little bit of dual roam to check the rune. Their wards have died. They have not had a chance to reward. So that's why we see them roaming in a pair. Using the buddy system, definitely a good way to keep yourselves alive. And of course, you guys just heard the howl. It is now nighttime, so they do have to be careful. This is a lineup that Nightstalker can terrorize. If he gets the sound off the time fashion. Oh, Queen of Pain goes in deep for the low druid, but TFG with the counter gank. Still, a kill on the low druid will be helpful. He's opted for the early tranquil boots just for the extra healing. Great solo kill, though. So this top lane is quite back and forth. TT sweeping around, looking for Long DD. The silence on Long DD, actually they're going for super. Smart choice here. Frostbite to follow the nuke from Chen. Down he goes. And really, that's an easy kill. Earthshaker is a strong defensive hero, but guess what? If you can't drop your fissure, you can't really defend your team. And that's the power of the Nightstalker. It's really, as great as Earthshaker is at stopping tower dives, Nightstalker is a hero that can make those tower dives happen anyway, especially because Fissure has a very long cast animation. Even if you go to cast Fissure immediately, a quick Nightstalker can silence you. Looks like Shadow Shaman Illusion doing a little bit of scouting. Actually trying to pull the wave back here, denying the creep pull, as well as push the tower. Great job. Wards get dropped. Second set of wards going for this tier 1. The bear is actually ward trapped from the looks of it. But either way, it's still able to hit the tower. And frankly, that's all this damn bear cares about. Tower taking a decent amount of damage. The nukes onto the wave. They really want this tier 1. Meanwhile, DK going for the trade mid. A tower trade is going to be fine for DK if they can get it. But the tower already dead. Looks like all they're going to get is some damage. Bernie has the ult. Diving deep for Moon. He really wants Moon. Probably going to have to back off here. TFG TP's in. Oh, TFG wants this kill. Can he get it? Crystal Maiden coming in from the backside. Bernie not able to get the ult off. They need absolutely perfect chain stun. And I don't think it will be enough. The Centaur stomp, but there you go. They bait out the Panda ult. And a Panda ult for just a Crystal Maiden. Well, it's not the worst trade in the world. Up top, meanwhile, ROTK going on to Sharky. Sharky will go down again. And that is the bigger kill. Killing the Crystal Maiden, that's one thing. But getting that lone druid again, especially in a lane where he gets an easy first kill on you. And I say easy because that lone druid didn't even lose health. That's a great counter kill. Great movement here from Zippo early on. He just feels like he's in the right place at the right time. Truly the hallmark of a good support player. TT looking to dive super. No, he's not going to. Look at the Earthshaker rotating back into position. Wherever this Nightstalker is, Earthshaker would like to follow him. So if we see Nightstalker swing this way, Earthshaker's going to do the same. If we see Nightstalker go back, Earthshaker's gonna go back. It's sort of like playing mirror mode. That's the idea anyway. But Super gets ganked off. Earthshaker's in position, but the fissure just wasn't enough. Good dive by the nightstalker. They pick up a kill. Still, if you look at MUFC, they're getting these kills, but they're not turning them into towers. Aside from the one up top, if the Shadow Shaman's not there, you'd expect the tower's probably not going to go down. Especially just the nightstalker alone. As good as he is at picking off heroes, he's not the best pusher by himself. He's a good pusher in the sense that he can help his other pushers get good positioning. That's really where he excels. But what I would like to see MUFC do, especially while this first nighttime remains, is knock down these two outer Tier 1 towers. And if you're DK, that's something you really want to hold on to. And that's why we see Zippo doing what he's doing now. Setting up those wards. He's maxing them first. Level 3 Plague Wards already. And even level 3 Plague Wards make pushing just so difficult. Even if you get a kill on a hero, good luck killing those wards. By the time you do, heroes are going to be respawning. Burning, no ult, so he's got to be careful. Looks like the creeps are doing... there's a pull, and then two creeps passing the night, is what I'm trying to say here. E-Club, or MUFC smoked up the Hex on the Burning to start, but here we go. Centaur's the ward toast for the ward trap, I suppose. Isn't able to get it. Queen of Pain joins the fight. TFG gets sent back to base just in time by the Chen. Great play, and Burning, no ultimate. He will go down, and this is exactly how you want to fight a Chen. Every time his ult is down, you play aggressive, or not a Chen, no, a Panda. You play aggressively. Don't let him wait until his ult is up to fight. Abuse the fact that he's not the same hero when it's down. Queen of Pain ult, as well as the Fissure. They get the Nightstalker overextended. RTK on the way out. Centaur's chasing. One more auto attack will do it. No, not able to find it. But while this is all happening, Sharky is farming. Phase boots, as well as the Tranquil boots. Up 2 pairs of completed boots. Not something you see especially often. A lot of low druids will just have basic boots on at least one of these in order to get a quicker radiance. But if you go for these early boots on both heroes, or on both the hero and the bear, you're looking to be a little bit more aggressive. You're looking to push your lane harder. You're looking to be able to contribute just a bit more in the team fights. You don't want to have to go back to base as much. You're expecting that pressure. Still, for the moment, MUFC is doing a nice job of applying the pressure. Radiant has a decent gold lead here, and I believe it's all farm. We're even in kills. Actually, they do have the 1 tower, so it's mostly even, just a slight advantage here for the Radiant in terms of farm. Still, if you look at MUFC's lineup, they're a lineup that you expect to really dominate the laning phase. Chen, syllabear, even the Shadow Shaman, because of his lane situation. All of these heroes had good laning situations. That bottom tri-lane didn't work out for them, but it wasn't because it was a bad matchup. A Crystal Maiden, Nightstalker, Chen, Pseudo tri-lane is very strong. I mean, we saw how close they were to getting that first blood. And if they got that first blood, that would have been a completely different engagement. The way that lane went would have been a lot different in the end. So if you're DK, you're going to be pretty happy with the way things are going. They're holding on to those outer towers. And when you're up against a hero like Nightstalker, as well as Shadow Shaman, who, speaking of that Shadow Shaman, is working towards his Blink Dagger from the looks of it. About 900 gold to go. Swings up into the jungle, looking to go for a loop around here. Good position by RTK down below the tower. But his ward dies, and now it's nighttime. So let's sort of, tally what happened during that first night. They got a couple kills bottom. They got the tower top. Those were really the 2 big things that happened. They also got a kill on the Panda. These are nice kills to have, but they're not it's not like a game-breaking first night. Great fissure, cold feet as well. TT gonna be a bit of trouble. The Chen heal coming out. Super is level 6, but actually he's not able to drop the ult. It's on cooldown. They're gonna get long DD. They're not done yet. Super still trying to get away. Nice wand pop. Will it be enough? Moon actually gets caught out. RTK joins the fight. Crystal Maiden gets sent home, and while this is all happening, Sharky pressuring the top lane. But we're not done yet. TT, one more on attack, just by the skin of his teeth. That last kill comes out. And look at what MUFC is doing. 2 heroes dead. Crystal Maiden back in base. They're still pressuring both lanes.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
MUFC being as annoying as they possibly can. But they really can't afford to give up these kills to DK. DK just have so much mid-game power with their ganking, their burst nuke damage, their mobility. Especially the Queen of Pain. The Ancient Apparition with his global threat of the ultimate. DK is a team with a lot of range, as well as the Fissure, which I've talked a decent amount about before. You don't want to let a team with range get any kind of momentum going, because if you do, then they start picking you off from long distance. Speaking of long distance, Sharky's got to be very careful here. RTK thinking about going in. He's going for a really early BKB here. He's already got the... Oh, actually, it could be an Aghanim's. I would not be surprised at all to see an early BKB, though, especially against a Nightstalker. You really need it just to deal with the silence. Sure, the Entangle still goes through the BKB. It's not the ultimate end-all, be-all solution of an item. But what it allows you to do is be very aggressive. Unless you get entangled, it's a big unless, but unless you get entangled, you're almost certainly not going to die. And there's also a lot of disables as well on MUFC side. The Hex, the Shackle as well. Are they going to use another set of wards for hero kill? We're about to find out. No, Hex to start, Net to follow. I believe the Nova, in fact, and the nuke cleans them up. Nice job there. Holds onto the wards. Actually, they were a pulldown. What am I talking about? Oh, it's super. Oh, he might actually look to turn this one around. The ult going for TFG, not going to hit. Bit of miscommunication there. The Hex on the... Oh, Panda ult gets dropped, and everyone on MUFC forced to run now. With that Panda ult up, you can do nothing but run for your life, Crystal Maiden. Unfortunately, oh, the Earth Panda blocking the Fire Panda here. Some Panda infighting, but it looks like he should be able to get net. Windwalk even being used. What a chase just for a Crystal Maiden. Oh, but Queen of Pain, meanwhile, gets the Shadow Shaman, and that makes it a worthwhile gank. The Shadow Shaman dying again. Early Blink Dagger, he's so close to it. 1,700 gold. Just not able to get it. And just as you want to be aggressive when Panda ults down, if you're the Radiant, you want to be aggressive when it's daytime, if you're the Dire. That's exactly what we see DK doing. When it was nighttime, we saw them play very far back, play defensively. Now that it's daytime, it's a complete role reversal here. And once that next night starts, expect to see it go the other way. For the moment, Chen Creep's doing what they can to hold off this push, as well as the Bear. So many frontline tanky units here. Overall for MUFC. Queen of Pain, blink away. And tag onto Super, and I believe that will be a kill. Nightstalker joins the fight. The Void onto Birdie, or the Silence onto Bernie after the Void. It looks like Birdie will go down, but Phase Boots picked up. He is very tanky, and the Fissure should be cooling down. No mana for the Fissure. They can definitely dive this. Entangle, entangle, no entangle just yet. One more auto attack onto Zippo. No entangle. There you go. Frostbite. Looks like Zippo will go down. Great chasing power here from MUFC. They're not done yet. I hear the Shadow Shaman wards, but my eye is on Bernie. Bernie, what a juke! TT gets his ankles broken by Bernie, and in the end, Bernie will escape. Great movement there, and that's the power of those early game phase boots. It really is. Still. If you're TT, you're going to be kicking yourself, because while you were busy chasing Burning, you probably could have killed off one of those other supports that was on the way out. Still, DK overextend, and MUFC do definitely have the team to punish that. The Entangle from the Bear and the Nightstalker with his chasing power. It's a very difficult lineup to run from, and it's about to get a lot more difficult. Well, I thought it would be a fast Blink Dagger. I am wrong. Apparently, he's going to rush what looks to be a BKB after a Drum of Endurance. And this is, you'll see a lot of Shadow Shaman players do this if they die a couple of times early. Generally, if you're having a great start, you're not dying at all. You're not running for your life at all. You're not doing something like a Panda. You'll just go for the early Blink. And I still think early Blink is very viable this game, but if you feel a little bit pressured, a little bit defensive, you might opt to just go for the HP, a little bit more guaranteed survivability. TFG, Shadow Strike to start, the AL to follow, great AL, Fissure as well, locking TFG in pace, and he will go down. DK, that's the initiation range, the Blink and the Shadow Strike. I mean, the lineup was here, Shadow Shaman's back here, the Blink in, and then he dies. There aren't many lineups that can get a kill from that distance, especially without any big items. They don't have any big items. There's no Blink Daggers, there's no Force Stats. It's just using the innate abilities of the heroes to their full potential. They're looking for Sharky, and this is a great time to kill him. 2,300 gold. Definitely looking towards the Radiance, but just not there yet. Fissure onto 2. Queen of Pain and the, and the Echo Slam from Long DD. Man, they really want this kill. In fact, the Medallion being used as well. Wicked sick RFCK. So close to the BKB. And I have to say, right now, it does feel like DK are really abusing the fact that it's daytime. I mean, the Nightstalker, whenever that ult's down, he's not the same hero. There's really not a whole lot he can do. And this is where Chen starts to suffer a bit. His creeps can't be everywhere. The hero is not particularly mobile. He's very strong in the laning phase, but in the mid game, if it's a spread out map, if he's not able to get around quickly, he may not actually contribute to these fights. He's got the heal, but the heal alone is not going to save you from all the nukes and chasing power DK have to offer. It's still a decent lead for the Radiant overall, and we haven't really looked at item progression, but we're about to see a dive on a Burning. Very action-packed game. Bernie drops the ult immediately, not able to get off the silence, and now it's MUFC on the back foot, the boulder toss. Shadow Shaman getting sent back to base. Chen thrown up in the air. Chen will probably be the only casualty. Can't see him getting out of this one. Fissure, and it looks like Moon should go down. He's very, very tanky. He's still got the ult. He himself up the Gale as well. Will he drop the ult for himself? He does. Just tried to stall. Zippo immediate entangle. The nuke from the Nightstalker. Bernie gets cut out. The silence as well. And now it's MUFC in the nighttime who have more heroes at the point of attack. Bernie desperately trying to run. Needs to micro the wards to get that kill. Actually, no, he doesn't. Lone Druid just right-clicking too hard. 2,400 gold. And MUFC with the Shadow Shaman as well as the Lone Druid both on the fight. And the wards being dropped. That's a tower. And now MUFC locking down another tier 1. Meanwhile, DK really struggling in terms of map control. Only one tier 1 to their name. The mid tower as well dropping very low. And look what happens when that tier 1 drops. We see a ward here. We see a ward here. Just to try and protect and prevent the movement into the enemy jungle from the Dire. Actually, I think those are pretty much the same paths. But either way, you get the idea. Once this early tower goes... When the tower's up, it's got sort of this sphere of influence where you can't really... You can try and backstab a little bit, but you can't just run freely through their jungle because there's so many ways for them to cut you off. I am really taking advantage of this map drawing thing, perhaps get a bit carried away. But it just gives you that one additional entry point, that extra angle to attack from, to defend from, to cut retreating heroes from, to cut them off. But when the towers are down, it's a completely different story. RTK, I believe the BKB is about to be flown out to him. Indeed, the BKB is up, and that is a huge pickup versus Nightstalker. No longer will that silence lock RTK in place. No longer will you have to worry about that. Burning, Blink Dagger picked up. It seems like DK are getting their core items up. Meanwhile, if we look at the Radiant, Moon with the early mechanism, TT with the Vanguard, Drum of Endurance on the Shadow Shaman, he's also working towards the BKB. Really, no game-breaking items for MUFC just yet. The one big one that they're working on, and they're getting very close to, is that Sacred Relic on the Lone Druid. Of course, the Radiance is where you really start to shine. But this is a very late Radiance. Already 21 minutes, no Relic picked up. It goes back to the Lone Druid, his 3 deaths this game. As much, you know, he's 3-3-3, he's not doing badly, but a Lone Druid would much rather not die and not get kills and just farm. He farms so quickly, he's so good at last hitting, he could easily have 120 CS at this point. BKB used just for a custom maiden kill, but maybe that's not all they're going to get. The silence on a Bernie, but it looks like MUFC are going to be forced out to retreat, and that's the power of that early BKB. Queen of Pain can blink in, jump the Crystal Maiden, and there's just nothing they can do. Nightstalker can't kill her. They have no answer for it aside from the Entangle. That is the only way they're going to lock down this Queen of Pain. With that early kill, they're going to be able to go for the tier 1 here on the bottom lane. And now DK is at a point where their heroes have the levels, they have the items, they can really apply the pressure. They want to make it go on Sharky. He just bought his... Oh, the Panda! Oh, look at the Chen melt! Oh, 1, 2, 3, down he goes. The Bear even being harassed. It was a bit expensive kill. They did use a Panda ult, but now they get the tier 1 for sure. And the Lone Druid could do nothing but run away. I believe Chad actually sent him back to base.
Haste!
As strong as Nightstalker and Lone Druid can be, as tanky as they are, it feels like they can't really do a whole lot against DK right now. These two heroes charge in, but then Queen of Pain drops the BKB. The Panda ult comes out, and you're not right-clicking down the Pandas this early, but this is a kill you can definitely get if you can catch Zippo out. But look at the support from DK, always traveling, not just a pair, but in fact a quad stack here, while Burning continues to farm it up in the top lane. It's what you have to do against the Nightstalker at nighttime. The great thing about that fight for DK, and the great thing about the early BKB, is the second night for Nightstalker, it's normally the time where Nightstalker is really going to dominate the game, if he's going to. He's going to do it here. Because by the second night, he'll have up the core items, the Vanguard, the Power Treads, the Ogre Club working towards the BKB. Whatever you want to go for, whether it's a quick Aghanims, whether it's these items that we see, even an Urd maybe thrown in there. Sometimes we even see Nightstalkers go Vlads for the push power early on. I've seen that in a few games recently. Not recently, but in the Dota 2 pro scene. Whatever you want to go for, the second night is where you're going to have those items. It's also where you're going to start to get the levels up. It's only a level 1 silence for the moment, but now with Hunter the Night Max, he can start to level up the silence even more. I think Birdie might be looking towards a BKB next. Either that or just the raw tank power. Go for something like an Aghanims. Because you either want to be able to remove that Nightstalker silence, or you just want to be able to be so tanky that you can sit through it, wait for the silence to wear off, and not die, and then come back and kill everyone. Those are the two options, but either way, we will see Burning going for some more tanky items here. Well, Drum of Endurance, that's definitely an option. Gives them the mana pool, gives them a little bit of mobility as well. It's just such a cheap item. I feel this item is very underappreciated in the pub scene. It doesn't get whole lot of love. It's not a sexy item, you know. It's not a Battle Fury. It's not a Dagon. It's not a Shadow Blade. You know, these are some of the items the pub players like. But Drum of Endurance for the cost to performance ratio, it's just fantastic. It's cheaper than an Ultimate Orb. Gives you almost as many attributes. Also gives you the extra damage, which an Ultimate Orb does not. And then on top of that, you've got the passive bonuses, the 5 attack move speed, and then the active. The active is very strong, especially for pushing towers, as well as team fights. So, nothing surprising here. DK, as well as the Chinese teams, they really love their drum.
Double damage.
You'll often see in a longer Chinese game, they might have 4 or 5 drums by the time the game ends. We saw it a lot in Dota 1. It really depends on the lineup, but it's certainly a possibility. BKB, I mentioned on RTK. What will we go for next? That is the question. Will it be a Sheepstick? Will it be an Aghanim's? Once you go for BKB, you really don't need defensive items. So, I mean, generally at this point, we'll see something that allows you to do a little bit of extra damage, allows you to burst down heroes quicker, or gives you some more utility. Whether it's a Yule's, a Force Staff. Sheep would be the obvious choice, and it's probably the one we'll see, but RTK definitely has his options open here. And I have to say, the second nighttime, it really has not been very effective for MUFC. They haven't gotten too many kills going. It goes back to the defensive capabilities of DK. It's so hard to gank into this Panda, into the Earthshaker. The only way you're going to be able to take a team fight is if that ult is down on the Panda, or if you can catch out the Earthshaker. But as long as you're sitting back, positioned very defensively, like we see from Long DD here, very difficult to catch him out. And of course, the wards. Ward here, spotting a lot of the key movement around the map. For DK, though, they only have these 2 towers remaining. If these towers get knocked down in the next couple of minutes, it's going to be very difficult for DK to maintain map control. Even with the mobility they have, when you don't have towers down in an area, the only way you control that portion of the map is by having heroes there. And, of course, your heroes really can't be everywhere at once, and even if they can, it's pretty dangerous to do so without a tower backing you up. Pretty dangerous.
Pain without consequence. Under attack.
Morphling was banned out, for anyone who's wondering why they picked Venomancer. I saw some mention that in the chat, but Morphling was banned in that second stage. They want to make a dive here on the middle lane. Fisher actually gets cancelled by Long DD, and TFG has the BKB. That's why DK's not jumping him. Oh, he dropped. What a war trap onto Super! Actually, shackling up Super. That was not the correct target. He was already dead. The Chen heal. TFG on the way out. Queen of Pain, BKB, and the Panda ult had been dropped. TFG still running for his life. I believe he'll be the next to follow. He will go down here, so 1 dead for each team. No, he's still alive. Finally, he goes down. While this is happening, Lone Druid just says, forget this fight, man. I'm going to go push the bottom lane. See you guys about that. That doesn't look like a fight for me. But Mood gets caught out 1 by 1. MUFC getting picked off. TT comes back in. Once RTK. The Chen creeps as well. Look at this Chen army. Just murdering Zippo and burning as well. The clap to follow. He still wants this kill on TT. Can a Brewmaster really run down a Nightstalker in the night? The blink! 1 more right click from Burning. He secures that kill. In the end, let's tally the deaths here. Queen of Pain, Venomancer, and an Ancient Apparition. For a Nightstalker, a Shadow Shaman, and a Chen. It looks like an even trade, 3 for 3. Oh, won't be even. Sharky dies here. Echo Slam, Cold Feet. Aeol actually not going to hit. The damage did not apply. At least I don't think it did. And down goes Long DD. Super might die as well. Big overextension here by MUFC. If this bear gets another kill, that would be a huge blunder. The entangle on a Super. He pops the 1. Another Cold Feet. Will Burning die too? Are we going to see a triple kill? Sharky really wants this. No, the Panda evasion. Just too tanky. Oh, that was so close. 1 more root would have done the trick, but Burning narrowly escapes. For anyone who doesn't know about how the root mechanic works, when you are rooted, you can cast spells, but aside from a few select ones like Blink, but you cannot auto attack. And the only reason Panda won that fight was because he could right click there. Queen of Pain goes for the easy pickoff on the Crystal Maiden. Doesn't even have to use that BKB.
Crystal Maiden.
It's still very healthy in terms of the duration here, sitting at 8 seconds. But I go back to that fight in the mid lane, and big mistake there by the Shadow Shaman. He ward traps the Ancient Apparition. Then for some reason, I think he shackled the Ancient Apparition, immediately canceled it. He wasn't shackling anything here. And all the while, he's taking tower focus. Shadow Shaman is really not your hero to dive the tower, in my opinion. Let the Nightstalker go in first. He's a lot tankier. He's also a hero that's, you know, he's decent for right-clicking, but mostly at this point in the game, you're using him just for the voids, for the silence. Let Shadow Shaman be the second man in. And if he's going to be the first, you really don't want to be taking tower damage the whole time. And at very least, you don't want to be shackling a hero who's already ward trapped. That apparition was dead, but as bad, I mean, the execution, again, it wasn't awful. It was just one of these, you know, small slip-ups here by MUFC. Maybe could have gone a little bit better for them. But in spite of that, we saw how powerful Lone Druid can be. Of course, he's had the Radiance up. What is sitting on the courier or the ground here? Nothing. Okay, Hood of Defiance. I was going to say, this Lone Druid's had the Radiance forever. Looks like Sharky's going to be going for a pipe. And against DK, a pipe is a necessity. Panda, Clap, Venomancer, Poison Nova, and Gale. Queen of Pain, Agent Apparition, as well as the Earthshaker. Any two of these 5 heroes necessitate a pipe, let alone all 5 of them. This may be a rare game where you want to see the vaunted double pipe strategy. For anyone who's wondering, no, they do not stack, but you can have 2 and use them separately. So, I don't think we're going to see a double pipe, but I'm just throwing it out there. This is maybe a game where it would be a nice thing to have. Nice smoke egg here from MUFC, but did DK spot it? I don't think they did. Oh, they're going to make it go here in Super. Hex to start. Burning blinks in. BKB is used. Crystal Maiden will be caught out, immediately dealt with. Low Druid in the middle of things. Can he right-click down the pandas here? Wow, look at those pandas just melting to the Lone Druid. And Low Druid at this stage of the game, he can absolutely right-click them down. TFG eats a boulder toss. The heal. It looks like MUFC may just be a bit too tanky. They really want to kill a Burning. I don't think this is the hero to chase. Shadow Shaman wards get dropped, but actually does not manage to secure the ward trap. Queen of Pain in the back lines, picking off the Chen. And the ward's actually not in tower range, so again, the ward's not being the most effective. Still, MUFC, they get a crucial pick off the HF apparition. They bait out the Panda ult, and this Dire lineup, without the Panda ult, just not the same team. MUFC sensing the advantage. Gonna look to go high ground. Zippo had no time to prepare a ward defense. They were not expecting to lose those heroes, especially with the ultimate. They were not expecting the high ground attempt this soon. The Bear gonna be burst down. Bear on cooldown for 5 seconds. If it dies again in the next 2 minutes or so, that is going to be a huge loss for MUFC, so they have to be careful. At DK, at the very least, they want to catch out these retreating Chen creeps. Always a sad sight for anyone who plays Chen. It's one of these things where even if you live, your army is not likely to do so, and without that army, you are just not as effective. At this point of the game, DK, they have so many nukes that it's going to be very difficult for those creeps to survive, especially if the Ancient Apparition ult hits. DK, despite not having the Panda ult, is going to go for the Roshan here. This is a bold move. Bernie almost out of mana. Looks like RTK is going to get caught out. BKB is popped. Will we see an Entangle? And Entangle will spell Outer Doom for RTK. No, for the moment he's not. Roshan at half HP. I think this is a very bad engagement for DK. They need that Panda ult. 40 seconds to go. Still no Panda ult, but the cold feed procs. No Bear. That means no Radiance. That means a lot of squishy heroes, but it looks like DK are going to go down. At least the venomancer does. RTK in a bunch of trouble. Shadow Shaman trying to hold him up. Where did he go, actually? I believe he force-staffed away, and it looks like Burning will be the next to fall. Burning dropping low in the back lines. RTK just cleaning up all these squishy supports. Meanwhile, Nightstalker with the double damage route. Super dropping ever so low. No Fissure. Great enchant totem. The right click as well. Queen of Pain, where is she? Actually, they're all TPing back to base. Nightstalker going to get one more kill. Wow. After all that fighting, 2 for 2 is the only toll. I expected to see a lot more deaths than that. And the buybacks galore for DK. Earthshaker does not want to be buying backs now. He really wants something, whether it's the Arcane Boots, the Blink Dagger. And it's a buyback that won't be a time to stop the Roshan. DK looking for a fight here. TP out from TFG. TT's going to back off, as well as Sharky. They did it without the Bear. They did it without the Radiance. It's not something you would expect to see, to be perfectly honest. Queen of Pain, not done just yet. She picked up an RTK. They want this Nightstalker. Blink and clap as well. TT, does he have buyback? No, pops the BKB, and he may live. I think a few more right clicks will be enough. One more will do it. RTK gets fogged. TT, still running for his life. Still running. He's going for the TP. Will he get away? I believe he will. Oh, man, that was a close call. Blink out from RTK. Force-step in. Shackle, or Shackle, where's the Shackle? Where's the BKB? There we go, but RTK gets his off. The root! No root, no root. RTK is going to live. That could have been very bad for him. TFG on the back foot. The Chen heal flying through. TFG trying to fog here. Needs to fog perfectly. Great body block by RTK. Perfect placement of that blink. Oh, it's the little things that just make you cry with joy. And RTK will go down to a nice test of fate there from the Chen. The courier joins the fight. Unfortunately, not the strongest combatant. This is a non-combatant. It's against the rules of war to kill it off. Burning going for the TP out. There's nothing to cancel it. He will escape, but the courier dying there. I gotta say, gold-wise, that should favor MUFC by quite a bit. Plus, they still have the Aegis up on the lone druid. It's a big lead for MUFC now, actually. I haven't looked at the gold graph at all, but 8,000 gold in, especially with the way this game is going, to be tied up 25 to 25 and still have that kind of a lead, well, look at the map, and nobody should be surprised to see this. Radiant map vision, they see everything. They see all the way up here. Dire vision. What is it? What do they actually see? They see this, and they see this, and they see this. That's it. That's it for the dire vision. And that goes back to the early towers. The Shadow Shaman, the syllabear, the Chen. Even though DK were getting the kills, when the Panda ult is down, they just couldn't stop the pushes. So now MUFC definitely have the map control. They have the advantage, but what DK have is a lot of mobility and chasing power. Although Queen of Pain is not the hardest carry in the world, she is very difficult to lock down, especially with that BKB as well as the Hex. The only way they're killing her is if she gets entangled. Otherwise, I just don't see it happening. It would take some really bad positioning or, you know, just a huge overextension, a desperate situation for that Queen of Pain to get picked off. Oh man, this game, especially for a game of DK Dota, has been very action-packed. It's not that DK doesn't play aggressively here and there, but they're a very calculated team. They're not going to take too many risks. Certainly not as aggressive as a team like Tongfu. Definitely not as aggressive as eHome or some of the other Chinese teams. So, DK is more similar to LGD. They kind of like to sit back and, you know, farm it up a little bit more. Generally, they have a harder carry. The Queen of Pain, not the hardest carry. Bernie on the Panda, I mean, as well as he's played, Bernie loves to get his creeps, but unfortunately, only 140 CS for him, really not the best. 200 for that Queen of Pain. She is leading the way. 15-4-3 for RTK. Man, I knew RTK was owning, but I just haven't had a chance to look at the scoreboard. This is kind of outrageous if you really think about it. Chen creeps, sort of scouting things out here, leading the way. And I heard a blink dagger. Oh, that's just Bernie. This is that point in the game where you desperately want your Earthshaker to have a blink, and unfortunately, he just doesn't have the room to farm for it. Oh, I see some requests for ping. Oh, I was going to check the pings, but unfortunately, no time to do it. So TFG, any big item pickers from him? We saw the Force Staff, the BKB. Aside from that, really nothing else yet. Nice work here by the Lone Druid. If you haven't played Lone Druid before in a higher level game, this is something they love to do. Send the Lone Druid to one lane, let him just push it out just by standing there with the Radiance Bird. And that way you can keep the main hero here. If a fight breaks out, you return the bear. You bring it back to the fight. Now, I will say, I wouldn't be surprised if we might run across a game sooner or later where this type of thing happens. Oh, they want to make it go on super. Nightstalker drops the silence as well as the nuke. They really want super, and I believe they will get him. No, the fish are keeping super alive as well as the mechanism. Down he goes, but the Panda ult doing a lot of damage. Moon so tanky. Nightstalker trying to right-click down the Fire Panda. Gets the Fire Panda, and that means a lot less damage here for DK. Really, I would argue it's the primary source of damage. Why are you kidding me? Oh, long DD. What a time to pause. He must really be lagging. And actually, I want to see if I can check out the ping. Ping, ping, ping. Where's my console hotkey? Well, we knew DK weren't having great pings. 250 to 350. It is very hard. Man, I can't even play with above 100 ping. I have no idea how they do anything. If you haven't played with 300, 400 ping, let's say you're from America, go try playing in Southeast Asia just for one game to see what some of these pros have to do. Or Absolute Legends is another great example, a team who often plays on the European servers. It is ever so difficult, but I believe MUFC is now poised to take this tier 4, or this tier 3, and with it perhaps a set of Raxes. No Panda ult, the Queen of Pain. Ought to use her BKB. I heard a Hex. I have no idea where that was dropped, to be perfectly honest. Sharky taking some damage here, but he's got the Aegis. He's really not. Oh, the root onto RTK. Meanwhile, Big Echo Slade. They want to bring down the Nightstalker, but he's just a little bit too tanky at the moment. Even with that medallion on him. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain going on to the Shadow Shaman, but Super actually for the one who will get hexed up here. Big chase, and they don't even get TT. And meanwhile, Sharky just cleaning everyone up with those right click. The fissure, is there a bear to resummon? There is. They're gonna go on the racks here. Bernie with the clap. The bear actually, when you have an Aegis, your Spirit Bear will not despawn when your hero dies. But he respawns a Rage Form, and immediately Sharky gets brought down again. Even with the Aegis, Lone Druid really not the best candidate for carry. Still, they get the tier 3. And if they only lose a Lone Druid and Aegis, it's not the worst trade in the world. It's not a great trade by any means, but it is not the worst trade. Will they get it, though, is the question. TFG tries to TP away. Hex in 3, 2. No, he's going to get out. That Hex so close to cooling down. How many buybacks were there in that fight? Queen of Pain bought back. That's the big one. If you look at DK right now, the Fire Panda just can't tank anymore. That Fire Panda was their primary source of damage besides the big burst from the ultimates. It dies to the Lone Druid. They just can't keep it alive for any sustained period of time. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain, aside from that, I mean, as this game goes later and later, she's going to be your only reliable source of damage. But now we're down to a 5-second BKB. We have some more disconnects from DK. And boy, oh boy, if you run an internet cafe in China, I think you try to recruit these guys, right? I mean, I think this is time where you say, hey man, we can do better than this. They're having, whether it's PC issues or internet issues, whatever is causing all these lags and all these pauses, I'm telling you, there's a market. I feel it's very frustrating for the players, though. It's already hard enough to play with the lag, and then when you have these disconnects and, you know, there's the computers blue screening or crashing or freezing up, you can't focus on the game. It's such a shame. After a lot of back and forth, big gold lead here for DK, or for MUFC. And the experience lead, pretty much meaningless. Everyone's got the core levels up on DK. Earthshaker at least has level 11. Of course, Queen of Pain and the Brewmaster all the way up at 21. The one thing they would really like is that level 3 Ancient Apparition ult, as well as the Venomancer. But for the moment, they're not at that point. For E-Club, I wish they would start with MUFC so I don't get confused. But the sponsors need their promotion, of course. Need their advertisement. Still, anyway, for MUFC, if you look at their team, everybody's got that level 3 ult. Even the Crystal Maiden, balling out of control. And actually, I have not looked at this Crystal Maiden. What does she have? 4 Staff, Tranquil Boots, Gem. It's not the best, but the Gem here is really the key pickup. When you are the ones with them... oh, I thought they just disconnected. Yep, they're still disconnected. Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about the lag here. And it's not even just landing the abilities. If you're playing Panda and you have to micro the... I mean, you have to tab through, or, you know, however you choose to do it, whether you use control groups or just tab through one big group. If you have to micro all 3 of those pandas with their 5 active abilities between the 3 of them, plus be ready to come back to your main hero. I mean, for Bernie, this must just be... he's a pro, and of course he can deal with it, but I guarantee you Bernie we'd be seeing better Panda play out of him if he wasn't dealing with this lag. Meanwhile, Chen, very, very happy. Moon sitting very comfortably here on a much more reasonable 100 ping. See, for me, that's sort of that 100 to 180. That's the limit for me. Beyond that, I'm already not a pro. Well, that's the nice way to put it. And from there, it's, you know, a little bit more lag, and I turn into a big feeder. Anyway, they're looking to go on burning here, or maybe they are. Net leading the way. This could be the bait of the century. If Bernie falls for it, goes back to right click on the creep. Still have not been spotted, but with RTK here, this is such a dangerous fight. Even without the Panda ult. TT actually going in on Bernie. Great blink away. There's no ag in him, so he will not be able to spot him. Not going to be able to cancel that TP. 4 staff in from net. Not going to be able to clear out the trees. Woo! Bernie dodges a bullet, and Moon goes back to farming the bottom jungle. This is one of the more challenging aspects of playing a late game Chen. Of course, when you get to the late game, your creeps are less important. Microing them becomes less important, especially creeps like this. The shockwave, not really going to do anything. But maintaining that creep army, ever so difficult. Of course, the creeps are going to die in these fights to all the AoE, but if you can at least get off a stun on a centaur, that could be completely game-changing. And Moon and RTK might run into each other. RTK, I think they just narrowly missed seeing each other, actually. It is nighttime, so you see there's not a whole lot of vision. Or maybe RTK was just playing dumb. I think they just narrowly missed each other, though. Force Staff trying to actually get on the high ground there. Venomancer drops a ward, and of course immediately dewarded by net. Fissure on M. Oh, TFG caught out of position. Drops the BKB. Might need to drop the wards. I believe he's just going to die here, but dropping the wards means more gold. He drops them. Actually tries to trap the Fire Panda, but instantly that Fire Panda breaks 3. God, that thing moves so fast. 522 move speed. And for anyone who wonders why this Fire Panda is such a pain in the butt, that's a permanent haste rune, guys. You are not running from that too easily. Still, it was a Panda ult for a single Shadow Shaman kill. As nice as it is to get these pickoffs, they're getting them very deep in their territory. So if you kill a Shadow Shaman here, what are you really going to do? You don't have an anti-mage with a max inventory. You're not instantly going to be able to charge down mid and clear out the tier 2s. So the best result you can hope for is maybe to set up another gank, or at the very least, get the lanes pushed out. At this stage of the game, you really want to be fighting in your opponent's territory, regardless of which side you're on. So no matter what happens, if you lose that fight, you have time to respawn, you have time to sort of reset yourself, without having to worry about losing racks, losing the outer towers. And this is really, to me, this tower right here tells the tale of the game. MUFC, 41 minutes in, still sitting on their tier 1 top, and trust me, it's not because DK doesn't care about that tower. They would love to have that extra 1,000 gold in their coffers, and more importantly, the decreasing map control that comes with it, but they're just not able to do it. I have not had a chance to push out that lane. When the enemy Crystal Maiden has a gem like this, it's a nightmare for the supports. Oh, long DD though. In spite of that nightmare, he may be finally waking up from that nightmare. Whether it's into a more beautiful dream and an Inception style where he forgets all about it. A deeper dream, if you will. Or whether this is actually waking up. Either way, he's got the Blink Dagger. And that is a huge pickup to have versus MUFC. BKB up on Nightstalker, but aside from that, they have the pipe. Still, the magical damage overall, it will be very potent. All the big items are now on the lone druid. This is the correct play at this stage of the game. If that bear is so much easier to kill off than the hero. The armor is lower. The HP slightly higher. But that armor is really what matters. The base armor is 12. So much. Just every little bit helps here. Having it on the bear keeps it safe. Blinking on his Zippo. The wards get dropped. Echo Slam on a couple of heroes. And the AOL hits as well. But the BKB on TT. And the key heroes to look at are Sharky and that Nightstalker. And in fact, Sharky will go down. Burning. Still not able to get the ult. Gets it off at the last second. Oh, and they didn't actually get the melee barracks hit. The wards working away at it. Working away on it. RTK, meanwhile, has picked up a Demon Edge and the chase going the other direction. They want Moon. Moon has the TP. Not sure why he's opting not to TP. Maybe waiting for that boulder toss, but he will go down. This Nightstalker, though, might be soloing the entire team by himself. Great body block by Super. Oh, man, what a body block, but just not enough. Super gonna look to get turned around. TT coming back in. Right-clicking, frantically going for this kill, but Burning may be the right-click master here. The sensei, if you will. One more right click will do the job. I think the bottling through it all, though, keeping him alive. The silence, the turnaround. He wants Burning, but you cannot beat this Panda with this innate crit, as well as the dodge. Oh, the blink in. Burning. How is TT still alive? Oh, DK, they want this so badly, but while that's happening, the racks went down. I believe it was to a combination of the wards and the creeps. Of course, the catapult here might end up being the MVP of this match if MEC goes on to win it. But again, this is why you fight in the enemy territory. You want to fight in this area if you're MUFC. Even if you lose, you're going to have a chance of getting the racks. And they finally claimed their first racks 44 minutes in. It's not really the timing you hope for when you have a lone druid, a shadow shaman, and Chen. You would love to knock down those racks at the 30-minute mark, maybe the 35. The 44, it's still within the window of opportunity. And the crucial factor here, there's no hard carry on DK. Although you have a Queen of Pain, and she is a very decent late-game hero, especially with her mobility, the blink, the hex, a decent amount of damage. She's actually got good agility gain as well, which means her attack speed, her armor are quite high for an intelligence hero. But she's not an anti-mage. She's not a Morphling. She's not going to single-handedly 1v5 the enemy team. Definitely needs the backup here. And so I would say for DK, or for MUFC, this might be a point where you think about a BKB on that lone druid, because he is really suffering for the magical damage. It's a strange thing to say. Lone Druid, normally not a traditional BKB carrier. Because he's already so tanky, you kind of want to be focused. But they're getting to a point now, a very odd thing to say, but they're getting to a point now where everyone on DK has so much nuke damage that even the pipe and the mech, the Chen heal, it's all not enough. And especially if the A ult hits, then you're looking at a lot less effective HP in these engagements. I'm actually going to see if the pain has improved at all. It looks like it's about the same. Pretty bad for DK. Either way, Burning caught out in no man's land, but he's got a BKB. If he needs to pop it, he can, and then he can still. But the bash, one bash to start, the entangle to follow, and Burning trying to TP out. No, he uses the BKB, and he still goes down. I believe that's a Nightstalker basher. Oh man, a Nightstalker first hit basher, a very early bash anyway. That is one of those X factors, and you couple the entangle up with it, and oh boy, that's unfortunate. Queen of Pain gets thrown up in the air, is forced to use her BKB, and this is go time if you're MUFC. Go for something big, whether it's the Roshan or whether it's the Rax. There's no buyback on Burning. They may not know it, but if you ever kill an opponent at this stage of the game, you have to test them and try to force that buyback. Basically, play a game of chicken, drive them to the brink, and see if they have the buyback, if they'll use it, and if not, well, you go ahead, you claim your Rax, you claim your Roshan, whatever the prize may be. RTK, he's got to be ever so careful now, even with this double damage rate. Uh-oh, they're going to find him, and I think RTK is about to get caught out. Does he have buyback? 1900 gold, he's already, he's so low, and they got to get him. Bash is needed, Bash is secured, and RTK will go down. No buyback on RTK, and I believe that will be the game, as they're going to lose at least another set of racks, if not two more. Fissure AL trying to hold it off. Still the Rax drops, and the Bear gonna just maul his way through. Look how fast Sharky is attacking. This 1-2 wombo combo, not of spells, but of just tanky heroes in the front lines. TT and Sharky making things happen here for MUFC. And Nightstalker, you don't really think about him like this, but he's a very decent late game hero. He's got a great attack speed bonus. 75 attack speed, his move speed is fantastic. And now he's got a walking long disable, Burning, Blinkin, Clap, Echo Slam as well. Crystal Maiden is the prize. I think if you're MUFC, you just back off. Sharky, no buyback though. They're gonna try and fight this. Zippo gets shackled up, he goes down. And the Fire Panda gets focused down. That's a lot of damage gone for DK. Still no Queen of Pain for 40 seconds. And they're not done just yet. Nightstalker chasing on the long DD. Nice enchant totem, thrown up into the air by the Wind Panda. Will it be enough though? God, that Wind Panda Cyclone is just so long. 6 seconds on a hero. BKB is dropped, and Super in a lot of trouble. He could have gone for long DD, but no, he's going to back off. They want the Panda instead. They really want Bernie, and they're going to get a Bernie. Shackle is available. There's the Shackle. Thinks about the Fissure, but long DD, it's not going to matter. The Nightstalker ult is dropped, and I think he knows about long DD. Yeah, the Creeps have vision. The blink away. Still, what does it really matter? Creeps overrunning the base here. The GG from RTK comes out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
At
tower
MUFC,
has fallen.
it was a game where they didn't really fully exploit the power of their early game lineup. They didn't get too many early towers. DK really punished them in that early tri-lighting situation. But at MUFC, they farmed the map when that mid-game hit around the 10 to 20 minute mark. That's when they started knocking down the towers. They went for tanky items early, the mass BKBs on the Shadow Shaman as well as the Nightstalker. Really turned things around. That Shadow Shaman, so many times he'd walk in, drop a Hex, drop the wards, and shackle somebody, and there's nothing DK can do about it. But I think it really all comes down to Burning getting caught off in the top lane. That's when the control of the game really slipped away for DK. Those positional errors, something maybe we wouldn't have seen if DK wasn't lagging. Either way, great performance by MUFC, and I believe they're below 500, so this is a much-needed win for them in Pro Dota 2. That's going to be your first match of the day. I believe we have another one coming your way soon. That second one should be Ale versus Arge. Stay tuned, everybody. I'll come back with that. But for now, this is LD signing off. DK actually drops a series to MUFC. I would say I would have considered them the favorites, at least the slight favorites going to this. Great performance by MUFC. They take it 1-0. It is a best out of 1. 35-33, your final score. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. I'll be coming back soon with Ale versus